There's a committee in Fryshuset that is set to deal with the crisis at the moment.
Mhm.
I couldn't help but notice that you're the only man
Mm.
in that committee. It's basically, I think it's 7 women and 1 man.
Mhm.
And speaking of balance, yin yang, female, male,
I think it's more in crisis. It's more getting the right function into the room,
okay,
uh, rather than looking what kind of in this at least in this moment of crisis. But we have several groups working on the crisis. If where we need creativity,
mm-hmm.
this group is a functional group, making sure we get a whole grip around all parts of the organization.
Okay,
And it's, as I said, it's functional. It's because in that we need HR, we need communications, we need skills, professional skills,
yeah.
but also the organizational functions in that group.
I don't mean that it has to be like chosen upon the premises of there being, half men and half women. As far as I'm concerned, there has to be equal opportunities for men and women. Uh, and also, I'm a woman who recognizes my powers as a woman. And because of that, I believe that I'm also able to recognize the powers that are embedded in the nature of men. I don't think it's all a social construct. And I do believe that in any form of crisis, there has to be both energies have to be present in order to solve anything. And personally, I would much rather have brothers in there with their energy, with their warrior energy, and females with their warrior energy and their empathy and so on and so forth, and have a beautiful dance happening between the two, rather than women believing that they've attained equality by being dominant, rather.
Yeah, but I would, yeah, I see what you mean. Still, it's an interesting, because if you look in Sweden, even though we are one of the world's, or maybe the world's most equal country when it comes to gender, all organizations in Sweden now have crisis teams. If we would look at them, I would guess that it would be hugely dominated by men.
Okay.
Not because it's the smartest way, but because we still live in a system where men are dominant. Yeah, I think it depends. Of course, there are different aspects of. We have different qualities. But in crisis management, I don't know. War is usually run by men, right? Does that mean that men are better at dealing with crisis?
It's not really about having men and women, but having a balance of the energies between female and male is probably what I'm after.
Yeah, and it's interesting, but I wonder. That is, of course, one aspect of balance. But is the gender part of balance more important than all the other energies we have within
No,
us?
but
It's one aspect.
it's not like one has to,
No.
ena behöver inte utesluta det andra, som man säger.
I think the whole discussion in Sweden is very interesting because we think that gender equality and balance in groups, that is one of the arguments for feminism and has been in Sweden for a long time.
Yeah.
So that the group becomes more competent with gender. But then at the same
diversity.
time... With diversity.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we have a very living debate. It's not even a debate, I would say, that there's actually no difference between men and women. It's just a social construct.
Do you believe that?
Well, I don't know. But the thing is that you can't have one argument and at the same time live the other. So saying that we believe in our management team it's important to have balance between gender, we are also then saying that there's a difference between men and women, right? But like, it's hard to describe, but you know the feeling when something is tilting. I definitely see, and I've been in the military, and I know exactly how dumb and inefficient a predominantly male context would be. Like there's one level of conscience gone, and when you're trying to bring it up in a context like that, you're so apart, like you're so strange that you like really feel strange, and how that can snap with one woman. You can have a group of men with 12.
So is that a social construct? Isn't that a biggest indication of our differences?
But who knows? That's the chicken and the
egg.
And the egg. Who knows? Is the social construct because it's biologically predominated to be, or is it the other way around? I can't say. I haven't read any science or anything that tells this is how it is or this is how it is. But doesn't matter. There's a difference.
What you mean is that even the biological evidence of male brain and female brains being different, that could in and of itself be a social construct, like within through evolution that we've come. All right, but then let's just assume that there's a reason for that as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And why do we look at that as negative? I embrace the differences. I find them to be something I want to embrace. I want to have that dance. Yeah. I don't want us to like each other in every possible way. On the contrary, but again, I embrace the powers of the woman in me, whether it's it is biological, or whether it's a social construct throughout all of evolution or not. It's what it is, right?
Yeah, and that's another contradiction, because those who are fighting have been fighting for women's rights, one argument or tool has been to speak that there is no difference, right? But when you're saying that, you're actually diminishing. So when we reach total balance, of course it will be because we identify and use differences. It's like integration. You use the different parts to make a more complex whole. So I think, of course...
There's a dialectic in that, that I think, again, it's like contradictions aren't just... It's not like we're supposed to live without contradictions, but if we use them as a dialectic in order to attain a higher level of consciousness, this is what it's all about in the end, So...
Då har ju folk plötsligt insett att de kan vara utomhus då. Det här med isolering, det är liksom säger att man ska stänga in sig. Det är inte det som är grejen. Jag skickade den där bilden som du skickade på Sweden before corona. Sweden bus station till min indiska släkt. De tog garvade allihopa. Precis.
One has to distinguish between niceness and genuine kindness, right? And a lot of this strike me as niceness and a very egocentric thing at bottom.
But you're right there. We're prisoners now. Young people are prisoners for a long time.
Yeah.
That's something to think about.
Yeah.
When the conspiracy theory gets so complex, it gets ridiculous. How in the world would you keep it secret?
With that, I mean, having that kind of understanding of life, it's not about being positive. It's about not losing your powers.
We'll live the same sort of in the same world as those who are frustrated and panicking.
But our experience is different.
Yes, and we will be better off.